I think of him in terms of how you named his page, in light of Gavin Michael. I like to think that I am, doing something in his light. So so thank you for allowing me to be in that space in his light. I'm amazed and blessed and humbled always, but especially when lost parents like yourself are present. You came to all of this uh, on the worst day of your life and from a completely different place. So you had affinity for, and that is perfectly fine, for natural things, for maybe alternative things. No one should suffer what you suffered because of that. You went into this wanting the best for your child, wanting the safest for your child. And you were told, this is safest, this is the best. And not just by one person, by the entire industry, with the Triton and everyone profiting for decades from selling you these lies that convince people in a predatory way that this is the safest, this is the best. And you went with it with your heart, and you got your heart ripped out. I'm a rational person. I'm a person who was always into math and logic. For me, and I consider that a privilege. So when I went to see what this was about, when I went to look at the evidence studies, to follow the disciplinary records and everything, it was easy for me because I'm that kind of rational person who always, you know, deals with things on a rational level, doesn't have many impulses. I was never too leaning into any type of alternative thinking. I'm a very boring conservative person, probably. But to see the path that you have taken, that takes not twice as hard. So you have to go back and then understand what happened to you, because you've just woken up in a nightmare, and it was not supposed to be a nightmare. And the reasons, to understand the reasons why, and then like yourself, to build this platform to keep spreading the information out there and reaching people, it's like 100 times harder for someone who is coming from that natural mindset, from someone who was really honestly believing into all of that. So when meeting lost parents like you, and from Bambi Chapman, I've learned a lot, because she's one of the lost parents that I learned a lot from, because she was one of the first home birth loss people to go into the community and go after her fake midwife that killed her child. She was one of the first people who climbed onto the social media and started fighting on the social media, saying, "You're liars, you're killers. Okay, this is a lie." And she received, so if you think of it in terms of time, so her loss and what she did was at the height of the home birth craze, at the height of the business of being born. And she went into that, and she was one of the very lone voices trying to do that. And then she created these reflective blogs where she was writing about how such a loss changes you, how it impacts your entire family, what that road from trusting your fake home birth midwife to realizing that she's the reason that you lost your baby, how long it takes and what it takes away from you, and how you have to actually rebuild yourself. You're broken into pieces. The core of your belief system is shaken, and you need to make sense of that in the environment when everyone is blaming you because you must have done something wrong. You didn't trust birth enough. If you only held off for another day, it would have all been fine. Or B, they're saying that, well, it happens. Sorry, let's move on. Let's move you out of the way, and let's focus on the lovely, nice, positive stories and where everyone happily lives ever after. But the problem is that in home birth, the babies that die, they would not have died in the hospital. The babies that die from poor fake midwifery care in USA, they would not have died if you were receiving, for example, proper prenatal care with a registered midwife in a hospital or an OB. So that's the problem. It's not that babies die in birth, yes, but at home they die from things that babies in year 2022 should not be dying from. This is about your son. The whole situation is your personal situation. So for me, that's something that really, yeah, okay. Thank you.
You know what though? You're exactly like, you're saying it from like a perspective that I think people don't really understand, because it's gotten to that point. The reason we even considered making a channel was because I was like, how many people can we reach? That was kind of like my thought, like, because I was thinking like, okay, I've done Gavin's page, I've done all these things. And I personally like talk to so many people online, and sometimes I have to take breaks because it's just so exhausting of what we do. And I have like, there's actually a lost group we are only home birthers. So it's only home birth, only birth center births, and that's it. And I get a lot of them saying, I have no idea how you have the energy or to do the channel, to talk to people, because they'll see me in other groups getting in fights with people or saying stuff that I'm giving them information that they do not want to hear. People don't always like to hear like the reality to burst those bubbles, And so the reason that the channel was even kind of made was I was like, we have to broaden what we're doing, because it's like, I'm only one person reaching out to people here and there. And I was like, and I'd like to do more. And I feel like it's kind of weird because it's like, I've had years from this, because next month, in February is 8 years that I would have my son. And it's like, people, I think the midwives and everybody thought I would just kind of disappear. They were like, eventually she'll talk herself out and then she'll just kind of disappear or something. But to be honest, exactly what you just said, when you talk to somebody and you try to give them as much information as you can, and maybe you're trying to be nice to them, or maybe you're like, I got to be that bulldozer that's just got to like just bust in there, and then they still don't listen to you, and then they go off and do something else. Like, I personally know people that went off to have home births anyways, and it resulted in a terrible experience, of terrible outcome, and they just disappeared. After I heard about it, I gave them my condolences, and I was like, I'm so sorry this happened to you and your baby, and they knew about me, and then they just kind of just disappear. And then I feel bad because it's like, I tried to prevent the preventable, and then I can't even be there for you after understanding what your pain is. So the reason I just keep pushing this, and it's like, and I think that's why we have so much support, is because I feel just like you. It's like, we save so many, but I just feel like there's so many more we could be reaching. There's so many more lives. And one baby is like, it's so painful, just one baby. And it's like, and not even my own, not like he's painful enough, but then I take on all the other ones that I've ended up over the years. And you brought up Bambi, but it's true. All the women before me, there was a lot of women that they helped give me the courage to even say anything, because I thought, we've been around. They've just been covering us up over all these years and nobody knows about it. And that's like the biggest driving force, is it's like, as I've gone on, I'm like, if I can do anything from my son, it is share what happened, share what's going on, and let people know like this is preventable, and we should be speaking about this, and at least let people make the choice. Like, you should be informed to make the decision. Anyone can make the choice of having a home birth. That's on them, but they need to be informed. I wasn't, and I know when I'm sitting talking to other mothers and other families that had home births, they weren't informed either. They were getting told the same crap that I was being told. So it's like, if we just keep pushing this out of like what people, I hope, and I know some people don't like, they'll see things, the video, and they don't want to watch it because they're like, oh, she's talking about midwives or she's talking about home birth and I don't want to hear it, which it's fine. But I do know that there's those one people that they do hear the message. They do hear what's going on. And I do know we have changed some minds, because I have got messages, and it does make me feel a lot better, because I'm like, oh, thank goodness.